You know how it is. Welcome everybody. We are live. Plant what you want to eat. Living in the end. You know, Neville Goddard says living in the end. Well, how do you live in the end? Same way you garden. You plant the seeds according to the harvest you want to bring in, which means you have to know what it is that you want. Simple as that. We don't have to fret. Think about it. When you're planting that garden, you don't sit there and, what's that word? Pontificate and freak out. No, you simply look at that garden and say, what would I like to eat? And then you plant accordingly. Because if you know what you want to eat, well, then you already have it. Because that's what you're planting. And because you're planting it, you know that's what you're eating. See? No surprises. It is law, right? But sometimes, if you don't know what you want, that's where the panic sets in. Truly, that's where it sets in. Because sometimes we want to plant our garden and reap a harvest according to somebody else. If you pay attention to it, you will notice. You will notice that if you try and plant according to what somebody else wants, you're the one who suffers the frustration. Hmm, why? Because everybody has different likes and dislikes. What's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. Because it works for me, and that's my favorite food, does not mean it is yours. Which means ultimately that one must know their own mind. That is what it comes down to, knowing your own mind. What benefit is it to you to know George's mind? You cannot live according to George. You have to live according to you, day in and day out. So, what are you afraid of? What's stopping you from planting your garden? Is it that you don't know what you want to eat? Is it that you are frustrated because somebody else is telling you what to plant according to what they want to eat? Or are you afraid to plant it because you don't think it's going to come to fruition? You could be in any of those categories. But let's make your life easy and effortless. If you take a moment to simply sit as you are, what is it that you want to eat? Well, then you plant that. Oh, well, that seems so easy. Hi, Jeff. That seems so easy. But that's the only thing you're ever doing. So that's why it is always cautionary to know what it is that you want. And that's where you put your attention. Because if you don't put your attention on what it is that you want, well, then you're going to have your attention on what you don't want. Because that's the way the pendulum swings. What you want, what you don't want. Always. You know, from where you are to where you want to be. That's why those two things are the same in polarity. So if you know what it is that you want to eat and you plant accordingly, then you know the harvest. Then you know the kind of work required. Well, if you're planting raspberry bushes, you know how long that's going to take to come to maturity. Just like asparagus. When you plant asparagus, you're looking at about a good 3 years before you can eat the asparagus. So you see, when you plant according to what you want to eat, you know how long it is going to take. And thereby, you're not standing there watching. That's another lesson, don't worry. So plant according to what you want to eat, Which means if you say, I want to have a new attitude, I want to have a new behavior. Well, what does that new behavior look like? What are the seeds of that new behavior? Plant them. Why would you plant them? Because you said, well, I want to have a new attitude. I want to be a new person. Well, what is the evidence of being a new person? Plant those seeds and start to do those actions. Because then you know what you can expect. You know the outcome of what you've done. You see, we think these things are complex, but they're not. They're simple things. Well, then why is everybody not doing it? Because we are undisciplined. And that's not a punishment. That's not a beat down. That's a wake-up call, though. How does one become disciplined? By doing the same thing the same way every time. That is how you become disciplined. By doing the same thing the same way every time. Oh, well, that sounds like a habit, Angela. Oh, but that's because it is. So you see, we already naturally live by way of habits. Look through your life and you'll see them. They're very obvious, yet hidden. The paradox. The habit is obvious because you're the one doing it. It's hidden because you don't know you're doing it until you become aware of what you're doing. So that is why when you decide, I'm going to create change in my life. When you say I'm going to create change, well, how do you know you want to create change if you don't know what you're currently doing? If you don't know and acknowledge what you're currently doing, how can you change it? Because then you're just shooting in the dark. So acknowledge. Always honesty with self. Acknowledge what it is. When you look at your life, you don't look at it. I will tell you this every single day because it is not what you hear, it is how many times you hear it because faith comes by hearing. What is it that you want to accomplish? That's the harvest that you want to eat. That's how you plant. Because that's the thing you want to accomplish. You want to eat it. Eating it is the accomplishment, the effect. So now what is the cause? Well, you're the cause. Oh, indeed. You are the cause. You will always be the cause. That is a very good thing. Because if you are always the cause, what does it tell you? If you know the cause, you can predict the outcome. So if you are the cause, you know exactly how it's going to go, and then you're not in the dark, you're not surprised, you're not left wondering what's going to happen. You already know what's going to happen because you are the cause. So you see how it's a good thing to be the cause? Indeed, it is a great thing to be the cause. So it does not matter what it is you want to accomplish. So long as you know what you want to accomplish, then the actions will appear. Oh, they don't appear by magic. They don't appear by woo-woo. They appear because you know the effect, the cause shows up because they travel together. They're companions. You cannot have one without the other. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. So when you examine your life and you say, what harvest do I want to bring in? What is my new attitude? Well, then the behavior shows up and says, ooh, ooh, do me. That's what it says. And so when you begin to do the new cause, well, then the new effect emerges. And here's the thing. This is Monday's lesson, so we're going to pull a little bit from here because it fits. When you know the cause, you can predict the effect, which means you already have what it is you say you want. You already have it. So there's no need to sit and watch, and there's no need to sit and wait. Because if you already have it, then you're already doing it. So what are you waiting on exactly? This is why a watched pot never boils. That's Monday's lesson. You don't have to tap your foot and wait impatiently. Not if you plant what you want to eat. Because when you plant what you want to eat, you already know the duration. We assume that pregnancy is 9 months. It's 10, 40 weeks. 4 weeks divided by 40, 10 months. Let's not get that twisted. It's 10 whole long months, y'all. So there's no surprise. You said, oh, look, let's start a family. You already know how long that's going to take. So you're not, are we there yet? Are we there yet? No. The moment you decide how you're going to eat, what it is you're going to eat, the moment you decide that, you know how long it's going to take. Of course you do. Of course you know how long it's going to take. So practice knowing your own mind. Because sometimes we do things because we think it's what we want. Because I heard it through the grapevine, right? You heard it through the grapevine and you said, oh, that's what I want. When in actuality, it was just a suggestion or a projection from someone else. You see, so that's why meditation is important. Because when you meditate, you learn who you are. Touch my body, right? You know who you are. The person who's visually impaired, how do they learn? By touch. So you have to touch yourself. Touch your thoughts. Come now. You got to touch yourself. So you say, oh, this is who I am. So that when something that is not you arises, you know who you are. And that's how you know who you are not, because you know who you are. And because you know who you are, well, then you will plant according to what you want to eat. Oh, but Angela, I am overwhelmed with all of this information. I understand. But here's the true cause of the overwhelm. We feel overwhelmed because we bite off more than we can chew. Oh, and then you're just here choking on it. I digress. Mm. You don't bite off more than you can chew. How? When you know who you are. See, this is the origin of all things. Knowing the self. When you know the self, the overwhelm goes away. You don't have to fight overwhelm. You need to know the self. Why? Because when you know yourself, you know A, what you're good at, B, what you want to eat, C, where you're going, D, your purpose. See, everything flows from there. But if you're running around trying to figure out who you are, you don't have to figure out who you are. You have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge who you are. How do you acknowledge who you are? Sit there and just breathe. You notice how when you start doing that, you notice how when you start doing that, it's just like a whole barrel of monkeys just bust wide open. And ooh, 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 that's all you can hear in your head is all of these thoughts. You're scratching here, you're fidgeting there, and you're like, meditation is not for me. And it's not that it's not for you, it's just that you've never learned how to do it. Not consciously, at least. Not consciously. Unconsciously, you've done it. Unconsciously, you do it. Any person who writes, any person who draws, any person who sews, any person who dances, you already meditate. Or you know who you are. Because you sit down and you either write your lyrics or your story, and you are fully focused. There's only one singular thing in the mind, and you know who you are. This is why you can sit there and write, because you hear that voice, or you, if you're going to draw, you see the image clearly. You know who you are. So you see, unconsciously we do it. But when you're asked to do it consciously now, here, we're going to sit here for 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden, an imaginary rash appears and you have to scratch. And then we say, oh my God, it's so like hard to sit here for 5 minutes. How do I stop my mind? Mm-hmm. We're not stopping the brain. Its function is to think. So you give it a singular task, a singular thing to think about. You know, Bonnie Raitt, let's give them something to talk about, right? You're going to give your brain something to think about. And the easiest thing to think about is breathing. So you see how simple it is to plant according to what you want to eat. If you say, I want to get better at meditation, the only way to get better at something is to practice it. The more you practice, the better you get. The activity hasn't changed, but you do. You change according to the activity. Oh, you sure do. So, this is why it's important for you to know who you are. Can you imagine if your body didn't know what it was? Well, an example of the law of correspondence, as above, so below, your body knows exactly what it is. It knows what it is. And how do you know this? Your immune system. It knows what it is. So that when foreign contaminant comes along, it knows what it is not. Just because it knows what it is. Think about this. When the immune system has been eroded, meaning its memory has been erased, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, then, right? Acquired immune deficiency. So the immunity that you acquired has now become deficient. Why? Because it is forgotten. The memory is being erased. That tells you your body only knows itself. Why? Because there are way too many diseases to count. So if you have to spend all your time searching for a disease, you're going to be worn out. But if you know who you are, that is where the power is. Because then that's how you know who the intruder is. Because you know who you are. That's what your immune system is telling you day in and day out. I know myself. I know me. And so when it does not see itself, which means what? There's something there. So it only knows itself. That's what makes it easier to combat intruder alert, right? So this is the same thing with you when you know your own mind. You then know what thoughts are yours, what behaviors are yours, so that you can do what? Plant according to what you want to eat. It's as simple as that. Listen, we already think that life is complicated, when in actuality, that's a false perception. If you look around, use the law of correspondence, as above, so below. Look at how easy it is for the planet to turn on its axis. 272,000 kilometers per hour, but it turns nonetheless. Look at how easy it is for it to turn on its axis day in and day out. It turns toward the sun every morning, and it turns its back on it every night. That's all it does. It just turns. And it turns in that beautiful wobble that it has every day. And it turns in such a fashion that you can predict it. Rhythm. You see, it moves from where it is to where it's going in the same fashion. It's a rhythm. So much so that when you see another planet, well, you know it doesn't move the same as Earth does. Everything has its own rhythm. So you see, if that is as simple as it is, in the northern sky, you've got Orion's belt. Stargazing is a beautiful thing. Every night, if you come out at the same time in summer, it's going to be right there. But when you come out in winter, it'll be somewhere else because winter has its own rhythm. Summer has its own rhythm. So if those things are simple, then it stands to reason that change is also simple. But you heard from somebody, oh my God, life is so hard. It's such a struggle. See? And how long have we been hearing that? I told you it's not what you hear, it's how many times you hear it. And then you begin to see the evidence of it. Listen, whether it is true or untrue, the more you hear it, you will see the evidence of it. Why? Because he cannot be made a liar of. Let us take a moment, shall we, to welcome everyone to the space. Twitter, who's here? Hey, Tiffany and Javion, I see you. Lilith, darling, I see you too. Hey, Solo Breezy. And, ooh, Gek. I see you too. Jeff was here. And then I know Cuddles. She'll catch the replay. Jeff will pick up where he left off. It's good to see you all in Twitter this morning. Oh, it sure is. Who's on fan base? Summer Rose. KZ. Hello, ZC. My Melanin. Flo Smiles. Yolanda. Zola. I see you. I see you here on fan base. It's good to see you all. Facebook, who's here? I know that we've got Indy. And on YouTube, who's made themselves known in the chat? Empress Ella. Hey, Keisha. David. Queen Red Pill. Double A. Hey, I see you. Goddess Pure Diamond. I see you. Denise. Anot. I see you too. And for all the others who've not made themselves known, I see you too. And part of the replay gang. Yes, I see you. There's something upcoming. Oh, yes. There's something upcoming. We're going to be practicing meditation. So take your time. Choose the time of day. There's 2 times, AM and PM, because you get up in the morning and you go to bed at night. Yes? So choose the 2 times that are easy for you. They're the most convenient. Choose them. And I'll record it today. Just something nice and simple. And you're going to sit there or you're going to stand. That's it. And you're going to breathe. Don't ask what's going to happen to you, how am I going to change? You just need to know that you are. This is why I loved taking traditional Chinese medicine so much, because of the Tai Chi and the Qigong. Oh, dear Lord. I was watching one of those masters last night because I've just been so drawn to it again, and I'm like, ooh, I got to do it. So I said, well, what do I want to reap? Longevity, peace of mind, ease, relaxation. Tai Chi it is. And so I put my mirror neurons to work for me. Yes, I did. I watched them. I watched them. They just, oh, it is one of the most beautiful movements. Because if you look at the infinity symbol, that is the motion of creation. Now, if you watch Tai Chi, you'll see why it's so beautiful. Because they move with the motion of creation every single time. And I'm like, dude. And so here's how beautiful mirror neurons are. All I know is the movement of creation, the infinity symbol. It is a projection and it comes back. It is a cause that goes out, a projection, and it comes back as an experience. And it does it over and over and over again in the same pattern. Infinity symbol, right? The 8 on its side. So I go out into the backyard and I imitate that shape. And you know, a funny thing happens when you do it. The breathing follows it as well. The mind follows it as well. And I'm like, huh, no wonder. But that's what I've just been feeling lately. And I said, well, I might as well put these mirror neurons to work. We don't have masters like that. Those masters live in caves, like for real. I'm like, how am I? I'm not gonna go in no cave. Like, come on, I'm not a bat. But I digress. But if you put your mirror neurons to work for you, watch the motion you want to learn, and you'll start to move like it. Remember Karate Kid? When he started to move the way the cobra does? Oh, you don't remember that part? Those are mirror neurons at work. So, I said all of that to say, know what it is you want to eat and plant accordingly. Because when you plant what it is you want to eat, you know how long it's going to take. Everything has its appointed time. You know that fall is coming. Harvest, not just a pumpkin spice latte. Okay, that is not the meaning of fall. Pumpkin spice. Craziness. So, you know, there's a time. Ecclesiastes tells you there's a time for everything under the sun. There's always an ebb and there's always a flow. What is yours? This is part of knowing yourself, knowing what it is that moves you. So when Neville Goddard comes and says, live in the end, what do you think he means by living in the end? To live in the end means you know what you want to eat. Well, of course you know what you want to eat. So then you've seen the harvest. That is living in the end, as opposed to being stuck somewhere in the middle. For instance, I want to accomplish this, Angela. I don't know how. That is not planting according to what you want to eat. Planting according to what you want to eat means you know what it is you want to experience. That's your job. Your job is to know what it is you want to experience. You want more peace in your life? What does that look like? Seriously, what does more peace in your life look like? Begin to mull that over. Get a feel for it. Oh, what a choice of words, Angela. Get a feel for it. Why? Because when you think of peace, your body will respond in kind. Your body says, oh, peace? Well, here's what peace feels like. At least it's matching the image you hold in your mind as to what peace feels like. It's confirming. It's just like if you say brie. Oh, you know that if you've got brie and you, hallelujah, with caramelized onions and sliced pear in a in between two pieces of focaccia. Oh, hallelujah, you know what brie tastes like. So then the body begins to respond to the image you hold. So the image is the end result. The image is the harvest. And then your body responds to what you say it is. So if you don't tell your body what peace is like from that image in your mind, because if I say peace and something else comes up, your body will register what peace means to you. And then the body starts to behave as if it is peaceful. You're living in the end. So you begin to walk peacefully, speak peacefully, breathe peacefully, eat peacefully, because that is the image in your mind. It matches. That's how come you feel. You don't feel randomly. You feel because there's a cause. And every cause has the effect. The effect is going to be that feeling. So to live in the end, or to plan according to what you want to eat, you must know what it is. You must have an image of it. And remember, if you were here yesterday, you know about our science center visit. You know about the toilet. Seriously, they had a toilet. If you were here yesterday, you're going to hear it again. Go along with it. They had this toilet. Seriously, a toilet bowl. It's a display, but it's not a toilet bowl. It's a water fountain. Oh, cognitive dissonance. Because when you see a toilet bowl, you know there's only one thing you do with it. But here they are telling you, no, this is a water fountain. So you see, the image of toilet, right, and water fountain feel differently in your body. You're like, oh, that's the feeling. So do you think you're going to drink from that water fountain? No, because the two things don't match. The toilet and water fountain don't match. So your body will register. And because that registered feeling is so strong and so visceral, you're not going to drink from that water fountain because it is a toilet. So now, if you say, I want peace in my life, and you already have an image of what peace is, but your body says otherwise, the thing in your body is what you will do. So that means you have to get the image and the feeling in your body to correspond. That is the law of correspondence, as above, so below. So the image in your brain has to match the sensation in your body. So if you are looking at that toilet bowl and you see the sign that says water fountain, it's not just a sign. Really, there's no tank, there's nothing to flush. There's the little thing you push on the water fountain and the water comes out and you lean over and you drink it. Yeah, good luck with that. The feeling of ew, that's what you will follow. So this is why the feeling is so important. This is why the feeling is so important. It will either confirm what you say you are about yourself, or it will contradict it. And if it contradicts, you will do the thing in your body. You will follow that because it is your survival. So that's why you will follow it. You don't just follow it willy nilly. No, you follow it because it is part of your survival. That's why the feeling wins every time. So if you walk around, oh, I don't know what I want to harvest. I really don't know. You know what? I'm going to plant corn. You know, you want to make a change. So you say your change is corn, but you're repulsed by corn. Do you think you'll plant corn? No, you can't because you are repulsed by the image of corn. I used to treat this little old lady, and she was diagnosed with hemochromatosis. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's excessive stores of iron in the body. Do you know the body is beautiful, right? Anything that was citrus, she found repugnant and she couldn't eat it because vitamin C increases the absorption of iron. Nobody told her that. It was just that every time she saw citrus, something happened inside her body and she said, and she couldn't eat it. Tomatoes, lemons, limes, pineapple, oranges, grapefruit, nothing citrus she could eat. Just the smell alone sometimes was enough to say, get me out of here. And that's how come she was like, she said to her doctor, but why would I do that? And so they said, we don't know, let's test. And that's when they found out she had high iron stores. Your body does not release iron or calcium, it stores it. It's not like vitamin B where you just pee it out. Iron and calcium, your body doesn't let go of those things. So that's why you don't take them if you don't have a deficiency, right? So you see, the feeling in her body saved her life every single time. Nope, like seriously, I don't know what happened in her childhood. I have no idea. I wasn't there. But I do know, based upon what she told me, she can't be around them. She can't even have them in the house. The smell or just the thought of it put her body in such a state. So do you see now how important it is to know oneself? Because when you know yourself, you know what you're going to plant. Of course you do. And you know what you're going to plant because you want to plant it. And if there is an aversion to doing the change, find out why based upon the evidence of what you have before you, which is your present behavior. You see, when I tell you that the law is absolutely phenomenal, it is amazing. When I say that to you, I'm not kidding. I'm being very serious. Look at what it does. Look at what it helps you to accomplish. If you would just simply line up with it consciously, because you're doing it all day, every day. There's certain behaviors that you do, as I mentioned before with habits. They're obvious, but they're hidden. They're obvious because you keep doing that same action. They're hidden. You can't see the action because you're busy doing it and you're unaware. But when you say, why do I keep doing this? That's your cue that the hidden has now become visible. That's what's going to help you decide what to plant based upon what you want to experience. So you begin now, because the whole point of telling you those things was to bring you into the awareness of your body. It's telling you your body's talking, right? It's talking to you. There's a whole modality called body talk. It's speaking to you because it is telling you what you are doing. It's showing you your behavior. So if you say, I am bold and I am confident, I'm sure of myself, but then you get this tight pit in your stomach and you're like, oh. Every time you say, I'm bold and I'm confident, you're crippled with fear. Hello? Your body is saying, you don't believe that? That's what your body's telling you. You don't believe that. Because according to the image in your mind, the image in your mind is insecurity. So this is how insecurity feels because I have to match the image you give me. So your body starts to show you what you hold to be true about yourself. And it shows up as your behavior. But you know what we do? We beat ourselves up. We get our little whip out and we start beating ourselves because we think we're not good enough. That's not what the behavior is showing you. It is showing you that the image you hold and what you believe to be true are in conflict. And it is asking you, what do you want to do? Well, you want to get the image in your mind and the sensation in your body to match. That's what you want to do. So, how do you get them to match? Okay, what's the image in your mind? What do you want to eat? That's the image, right? Because you're planting seeds now. Go back to the garden. We're going to use the law of correspondence, the garden. As above, so below. So, the image in your mind, that's who you say you want to be. That's the new you. Well, that new you has behaviors. So you start doing the new behaviors that correspond with the image that you are holding. So if you say, I'm bold and I'm confident, well, that means that behavior has to be straight spine, firm step, eye contact, firm handshake, a particular swagger. That's what that means. So if you say I'm bold and I'm confident, the image in your mind of who you think bold and confident is, now, if you begin to do those new actions over and over and over again, what are you doing? You are planting the seeds of boldness and confidence. So, what are you going to reap? Bold behavior, confident behavior, thereby exposing you to things that you can see your boldness. That's what you're doing because you have to reap that harvest. So, when Dr. Joe Dispenza says to you, if you can get your body to believe that are you are living in the way you want to live right now, if you can get your body to do that, you'll change your life. The only way to get your body to do that is to do it now. Well, I don't know what that feels like. Well, you don't know what boldness feels like? You don't know what confidence feels like? When I say those words to you, who comes to mind? What comes to mind that will confirm boldness and confidence? And now you're going to put your mirror neurons to work. You will go and you will look at people who present as confident. You will look at situations where you can see the confidence. Why? Because mirror neurons, when you start looking at what you say you want to be, your body begins to prime you to do it. In actuality, your body primes you to do it right now. Listen, science is saying this to you all over the place. Like athletes, they hook up the little cap to their heads, and the coach says, run the race. And you're sitting in the chair, and the coach says, run the race. The athlete runs the race in their mind, and all the muscles that are required start to fire on the computer and they register as movement. But he's just sitting in the chair. The athlete is not running, but he's telling his body that he is by seeing it. Mirror neurons. You didn't trick your body into doing anything. You just told it that you were. And because you told your body that you were running, your body fired all the muscles that are your breathing changes, heart rate changes, fast and slow twitch muscles begin to, hey, your body is doing what you tell it. This is why you have to put everything to use. If you say, I want to get out of depression, they'll start looking at things that cause a lift, that make you feel better. And here's the thing with mirror neurons, you don't have to be the one doing it. But if you observe it being done, your body will respond for you because you're looking at it. So if you're looking at it, well, then you must want it. Now do you understand why you put your attention upon being who you want to be instead of complaining about who you don't want to be? Because your body, the minute you look and register, here's the seed I'm going to plant because this is the harvest, this is the change I want to bring about. When you do that and you put your attention upon it, well, then the body responds and helps you to change. This is, I keep saying, it's simple, but we want to complicate things. Oh, but Angela, you don't know because you've never suffered like I did. No, I've not suffered like you. But what I'm not going to do is sit here and think of how much you've suffered. Do you know why? Because if I sit here and think about how much you have suffered, my body will respond to your suffering. That's why Neville Goddard says you don't sympathize with people, you empathize. You understand what they're going through, and then you see them at their best. Oh, well, yes. You understand how beautiful this is? To make you bust wide out of depression and make you slow your roll so you're not so anxious. Put your attention where you want to put it. And if you say, I want more calm in my life, but the thought of meditation brings you anxiety in your body, what's that telling you? It's not telling you that you're anxious. It's telling you, hey, I know you want to meditate, but this is how you feel about meditation. That's what your body is telling you. If you say, oh, I'm going to meditate, because that's the harvest you want to bring in. But if you say, yes, I want to bring peace into my life, calm and meditation, I want to do that. But then your heart starts to speed up and you say, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. Meditation is so hard. Oh, dear. Slow your roll. Just breathe. Your body is telling you what you feel about meditation. It's telling you, here's a contradiction. I know you want to meditate, but if you don't change the image in your mind, whatever you're feeling right here is what you're going to continue doing. So now what do? You tell your body you want to meditate. Begin to look at meditations. What? Yes, begin to look at meditations. Why? Monkey see, monkey do. Mirror neurons. You're looking at meditation. It must mean you want to meditate. So your body does what? Begin the meditation process. But if you get caught up in the, it's too hard, I can't meditate. I've tried for months. Nothing's changing. Yes. If you do that, which means you have completely allowed your feelings to take over without any examination at all. Listen, yes, David, let me hear your body talk. Your body talk, right? Listen to your body and what it's telling you. So start showing it what you want it to do by looking at it and giving the new thing your attention. Because when you give the new thing your attention, you are planting your seeds. And you already know what your harvest is because you planted the seeds of meditation. You planted the seeds of peace of mind. Good morning, Marjorie. Yes, Queen Red Pill. The body is highly intuitive because it knows itself. Yes, it is food sensitivity on a whole nother level. Right? That's what it is. So you understand today. You know what you want to reap. You are living in the end so that when you speak, you don't say things like, "Oh yeah, I'm I'm going to get better at meditation." Yeah. No, you say, "You know what? My body is meditating. I'm already feeling more calm." Why? Because you're living from meditation. You're living from it versus, "Yeah, man, I know meditation works real good. I'm going to start practicing." Yeah, that's you're thinking about meditation. But to live from meditation, you're like, oh, meditation feels so good to my body. I'm so glad I started meditating. Whew, that feels so nice. You're living from, which means you have planted according to what you want to reap. This is what you've done. This is why you use everything at your disposal. Indeed, you do. But that's why I told you yesterday, don't complain about it. Why not? Because when you complain, you put your attention on it. And you and I know very well that wherever you put your attention on gets bigger. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you woo woo here, I'm telling you facts. If you're a young man, you know what I'm talking about. Where you put your attention, it grows. Mm, because you're focused on it. But take your attention away, and it shrinks. Fancy that? This is actual fact because we live it, don't we? I keep telling you, we do things naturally because the body is designed to thrive. And the only reason why it does not thrive is because you already believe something else. You already believe that it is a struggle. And you don't just believe that it is a struggle. Remember the toilet bowl? Life, right? Toilet bowl. We think, ooh, life is hard. It is a struggle. But I say, no, it's a fountain. And you look at me like, this heifer is nuts. These nuts, right? I'm telling you, it's a water fountain. And you're saying, do you know what I do in that water fountain? That's not a fountain, that's a toilet. So vehemently, passionately, you believe life to be this struggle. So it has to be because it has to correspond, or else you will be in conflict. You cannot be in conflict. You must always be in agreement. It is law. It is called correspondence. As above, so below. So if you think it's a toilet, it has to be a toilet, and all your life experiences must confirm toilet. However, if you say fountain, now you have to start behaving like fountain. You have to start behaving like fountain. That means you got to sip. Means you got to take a sip. You got to get out there and, I want to enjoy life. Well, then where do you begin to enjoy life? It comes right back to square one. Who are you? Who, I really want to know. Who are you? What do you like? That's where you start to begin. You start right there. Well, I like this. Well, then start to live more of that. Why? Because wherever you put your attention, whatever seeds you plant, that's the harvest that you will bring in. That, my beautiful friends, is what I'm going to tell you. Plant according to what you want to reap. But to know what you want to reap, well, then you got to know what your palate says. What do I feel like eating? That's where you begin. Well, my mother said this was real good for me. Sure, she can say it's good for you. But is that what you want to eat? Is that you? Trust me. How many of us don't even like peas? From what? The brutality of childhood. Eat your peas. Right? But if you grew up picking sugar snap peas and crunching into them from the garden, oh, then you love peas. Well, then that's what you plant. You go according to taste. But in order to know your taste, you must know you. And in order to know you, you got to spend time with you. And how do we spend time? With ourselves. You sit down or you stand and you hush and just breathe. Just breathe. You know, Faith Hill. I digress. Yes, I do know country music. I grew up on Freddie Fender. Come now. Wasted days and wasted nights. Don't get me started. Anywho, that's what I want to say to you today. That's what I want to say to you today. Let me check here just to make sure um, that everything is on the up and up and I'm not missing anything. Any DMs, you know how it is. So, countdown initiated. Yes? 5, 4, you know where to find me. You know exactly where to find me. YouTube for the last remnants of gravy from the bowl. Isn't that nice? With a nice plump biscuit. Oh. Listen, life is meant to be pleasurable. It is. I saw a cornbread recipe the other day because somebody said to me they made cornbread. And I said, how dare you? I love cornbread. I only learned how to make cornbread when I moved here because we use our cornmeal for something else in Barbados. Cuckoo on flaying fish. Hey, we don't make cornbread. That's a southern thing. But I learned how to make it. Mm. There's nothing that beats a warm piece of cornbread with butter. But that's just me. Anyway, that's what we're going to have over here on YouTube. 5, 4. Twitter. I see you, Lilith, Solo Breezy, and Keisha. I see you on Twitter. I'm going to catch y'all's later, Twitter. You know I'm going to catch y'all's later. Uh-oh. Okay, let me see. I'm going to do it right now. Okay, Twitter, I love you. Watch for it, Lilith. I'll send it right now. Twitter is closed. Let me get that YouTube link and send it to her. I'll post it over there. So you see, that's what we do around here. That is what we do around here. You have to enjoy life. But if I say to you, enjoy life, and your whole body gets tense and you're like, I can't enjoy life, then your body is telling you what you already hold to be true. And in order to change what you hold to be true, you must do a new behavior. So where's that new behavior going to start? See? You see? That's what's so beautiful about it. The law makes life pleasurable, simple, and easy. So the next time you ask yourself, how am I gonna get through? You tell yourself, easy as pie, because the law says I can. And how does the law tell you that you can do it? The image in your mind. Hold that. And then you feel the sensation in your body. It will either confirm or contradict. And if it contradicts, the new behavior must match the new image. Begin there. That's why you don't have to wait for anything. No, you don't have to wait for something. Because if you're waiting, you'll always be waiting. Why? Mirror neurons. If you're waiting for something to happen, are we there yet? Are we there yet? It just seems so long, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Start doing it now. You're not tricking your body because you can't fool your body. The minute you make a decision, you've already told your body what to do. Yes. So start doing the new behavior. But how long is it going to take? Your lifetime. Well, that's exactly how long it's going to take you because you'll be doing it every day that you're alive. Oh, dear. So think about it. You've been doing the old for how long? Your whole life already. So you want to make that change, you'll be doing the new thing for the rest of your life. So that's why you persist in it. Anyway, fan base, you know I love you. ZC, Coach, Flo Smiles, Miss McQueen, My Melanin, Summer Rose, KZ, Yolanda, Zola. I see you all. I'ma catch y'all on YouTube for the last remnants of gravy from the bowl. Thank you for your love and thank you for being here. I'll see you in the morning. Fanbase is closed. You know what? I am sure some people think I am a few bricks short of a load. The elevator does not go all the way to the top. I am sure. For real. Sometimes I question my own sanity. I'm like, really? Am I nuts? And then I laugh and I say, these nuts. No. And a funny thing is, every time I see a squirrel, like seriously, I was on the phone with somebody last week. He's talking to me, and I got real quiet. He calls my name. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "There's a squirrel in the yard, and I was just watching him." Seriously, he's talking to me, but there was a squirrel, and I'm looking out the window, and there was the squirrel. You know how they are. They flit about, here, they hop there. But what was so fascinating about this squirrel is he had nuts in his mouth. So how could I not watch that? How could I not be so fascinated by the squirrel? Not because I was trying to be mean, but it was just, oh my God, a squirrel with nuts. Like, you don't always see a squirrel with nuts in its mouth, but for some reason, that squirrel had nuts in its mouth. And I thought that was cute. And so that's why I did it, right? Anywho, this is the beauty. This is the beauty of what we have. Look at the things you want to experience. You don't look at them to judge them. Cyber, hey, baby. I see you. Oh, Queen Red Pill Cell. Yes, it's a toilet that I have never used as one and has been converted to a beautiful water fountain. I'm going to take a sip and enjoy the new experience. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Because we do hold perceptions, don't we? We hold things in our mind's eye that we deem to be true. That's why that display was so pivotal to me. It really did leave an impression because it got my emotions involved. That's the way the human works, right? It really did leave an impression because I'm looking at this and I'm like, dude, that is a party. That's a party. How many parents let their little kids run loose in there and have to say, no, don't do that. Because the kids think it's a potty. And then you want to tell me it's a fountain? Ew. So, how many things in our lives do we perceive to be potties, but that's only the perception, right? Oh, sure, it seems like a drastic analogy, but it holds true. It holds true. How many things in our lives do we hold fast to and refuse to change because we feel the contradiction in our bodies and we don't question them? Remember, the contradiction is telling you this is what's going to win out. Not that picture you're holding in your mind, but this feeling right here in your body, that's what's going to win. That's what it's telling you. So when you say, I'm going to plant dot, 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 and if you get a contradictory response, you know the outcome. The contradictory response in your body is the outcome. You will continue to do what that is. But if you examine that sensation in your body and see what is causing it, now you begin to say to your body, okay, we're going to do a new thing. We're planting new seeds to bring in a new harvest. And so you start doing the new, you start behaving in the new fashion, walking and talking and eye contact and just like Marjorie. Just like Marjorie has more joy in her world, right? You don't grudge the person or become resentful of the person who has joy. Do you know why? Because if you look at their joy and partake in it just by observation without judgment, you will start to respond to joy as well in your own life. That is the beauty of mirror neurons. But if you look at that person who has joy and you say, oh yeah, she thinks she all that, and you judge it, well, then you will continue to reap the harvest that you have already planted. And you will remain stuck with the toilet bowl instead of moving forward to get the fountain. Right? I got joy like a fountain. I got joy like a fountain. I got joy like a fountain in my soul. That's the song. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. Because peace is like a river. Hey, it flows, yeah? David says, wow, this show is showing me why I act the way I do. I don't feel for people. I just see the condition they're in and I see them in a better place. But of course, because if you see them in a better place, they have to get there. But you'll get there too. Everybody wins, right? You get joy and you get joy and you get joy. Hey, everybody gets joy. That's why you don't look at somebody who's rich and you poor and you say, wonder who they stole that money from. You know, you can't trust these rich people. They the devil. However, if you just allow yourself to observe how they move in their wealth, at peace, with no worries, your body will begin to respond as it too is wealthy. So that's why if you watch somebody or something that is wealthy, anything that denotes wealth to you, you watch it, your body starts to fire and wire like it. But if you get in there and you judge, what happens to you? That's right. You choke off the supply and then you say, you see? That's what you say. See? I told you they were all dirty. Uh-huh. Same thing for relationships. If you see a beautiful couple walking down the street and your first response is, gold digger. Look at how old he is. You know, men's so nasty. Why he gotta be with somebody so young? He 80, she 30. Mind your own business. He holding her hand. That's what you looking at. She could be his caregiver. You don't know. But don't judge. Don't judge. If that is the beautiful relationship you say you want, begin to look at beautiful relationships. And if you feel some kind of anxiety in your body when you see that relationship, you go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Where is this feeling coming from? This is the feeling that's going to win out. So that means I need to tell my body, we're going to plant new seeds, relationship seeds. So here's what this relationship for me is going to look like. And you start telling it, and you start looking at relationships that are beautiful. You know, like the notebook. Right? The notebook. And you're like, oh, that's so sweet. Your body begins to fire and wire you for that. Not because I say so, it is the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. So then you know you start planting those new seeds. And how do you speak about that? How do you speak about that relationship? You say things like, I know he's like so dreamy. I could sit here and look at him all day long. And then in your mind's eye, you see him hold his head up and look at you and go, why are you staring at me? And you would simply respond in your mind, because you're hot. And he'll say, such a loser. Or he'll kiss you. All in your mind's eye. What's happening? Fire and wire. You're living from there because that is the rehearsal you are doing for the relationship you say that you want. But Angela, aren't they going to think I'm nuts? Can I see inside your mind? Not unless you show me with your behavior. So if you feel like you're insane, hmm, but you must know that you're creating your ideal relationship. That's what you're doing. Because think about it. If you are in a relationship right now, and that's the kind of banter you have with your significant other, because you sit there and you look at them and you're like, tasty. Or they say to you, I love your hair today, babes. Or what are we going to cook for dinner tonight? I know what's for dessert, but what are we going to cook for dinner? Like you have those conversations with that person. So when you go to work, right, and you think about them and a smile crosses your face, are they with you right now at work physically? In your thoughts, they are. You are already thinking it. You're already thinking about them and conversing with them in your mind already. So when you get home, you've already rehearsed what you're going to say. Do you like this? I was thinking of you when I bought it. I'm just being silly, but you know what I'm saying to you. You have those conversations already. So keep having the type of conversation you want to have because the body fires and wires. Make sense? Anywho, David, well, you don't have to tell me twice. I'll speak on it way more because, like you say, people need to understand it. Oh, Queen Red Pill. I just had such a positive thought. You have such a beautiful voice. What if you created and sang songs that represented all the seven laws? Well, what an idea. I've been thinking about that for quite some time. Thinking about it is all I've been doing, though. Just thinking about it. I haven't heard a melody. Because, here's what it is, right? I'll tell you this, Queen Red Pill. And it's, oh my God, it's so synchronistic. Right? I hear all these people who sing these affirmations, you know what I'm talking about. You hear them on TikTok or, hey, Mozinga, Cyber, don't make me come for you. Cyber, you're so crazy. I see all these people when they do these little ditties that they do like on TikTok and stuff, and they're talking about manifestations, right? um like one of them is about money. Money comes to me, blah blah blah, and they're singing or they're rapping, and I'm like, that's nice. Because it gets in your head and you start firing and wiring for it, right? Because you're singing it subconsciously all the time. And I was like, I need a real catchy beat, Cyber. I need a real catchy beat for the law. How do I want to say this? And so that's what I was doing. But I see the problem. I'm thinking of how I'm going to do it. See the problem? It's not how. What is the effect? What is the harvest that I want to bring in? That bumping song about the law. Yeah. That's a ditty, like a little ditty that you can just, yeah, it just flows right out of you, and you just walk through your day, and you be humming it, you be rapping it, you tapping your foot to it. Yeah, that is the effect that I want. So now that means what I gotta do. Listen to what I think is bumping. Generate what I think is a good beat. Get around music. How do I want to move? That's what it is. That's what it is. Let me go back here because David, you are so welcome. Cyber says, Positively Angela's How to Manifest Love course coming soon. You need Jesus. You need Jesus. Actually, Cyber, it's not a course. Eh, Do you know the store called Build a Bear? We have a store here called Build a Bear. I mentioned this just simply last week to my bestie. She's like, that's a great idea. And now here you are telling me it's a course. Lord Jesus, come for your world. See, look at Mozinga said he'd been thinking the same thing. And Mozinga says, Queen Red Pill, it's not a song. He says it's an album, 7 songs. Well, that's an EP, right? Oh, Lord, Mozinga, it's not a chorus, it's a chorus. Hello. You see, this is what I love about us. So now I got to do it. I got to get it done. Like, seriously. Oh, I got to get it done. I can I can kind of sort of feel the beat of the drum, because you got to have that snare. Like when you hit the snare, there's just something about the snare when you hit it. That's nice. Not the rim shot, hey, baby, baby, a rim shot. I'm not talking about Erica Badu style. I'm talking about you hit that snare. You just hit it. Mhm. Mm. Queen Red Pill, yes, but that's it. Oh, whew. Can't keep secrets at all around here. You guys just show up and tell me what I've been thinking. I'm like, oh. But Queen Red Pill says I break out in the song all the time. Yes, I do. I do. Because there's a song somewhere talking about what it is, right? And that's the beauty of the law. Uh, Not that I like a high pitched snare. It's more along the lines, um, loosen up on the snare a little bit because when you tighten it, right? When you tighten it, the pitch is higher. But if you loosen it up a little, you get more of the bottom end in the snare. I like the bottom end in the snare because when you combine that with the tom, right? When you kick, oh, oh, I feel like Homer Simpson. I'm just drooling over the beat right now. Like, but then you have to have the hi hat in the mix. There's certain songs. I'm trying to remember one of them that uses that. Because I can feel it in my body right now, the drummer, and just going with the hi hat too. Like for the chorus, like it's just so. Expand on that, Mozinga. Well, Cyber, here's the word, y'all. We already have a retreat in the making. That reminds me, I gotta call them. We already have a retreat in the making. So why not beatbox it? That is, I don't know. I don't hear it. I feel it in my body so far. But I'm gonna post something. I'm gonna post it. This is something a song I made way back in like 2000 and maybe 8 or 9, maybe 5. It was just a beat we put together years and years and years ago, and I found it again. I've never released it because you know what I mean. I've never released it, but there's only one line in the song. Um, do you want to be free? Yeah, that's Do You Want to Be Free? That song was written years and years and years and years ago. But I definitely will when I just sit there and ponder it. You have cyber? Really? Uh, Mozinga, he's speaking my language when he says "twas." Yes, I do. I do love that old speak. It's beautiful. It really truly is. Um, it is lovely. It's quite poetic. Yeah, I definitely have to meditate on it because it's just. But for me, normally, what I do, that's how I wrote Mr. Right. I had gone out with the girls. This was when I was in college, way back in the day. And we gone out and we were at Soho, and I had just got a pint of Guinness with a straw. And I'm sitting there, and this beautiful Ethiopian man walks in. When I tell you the curly hair and the brown skin, I was like, I looked at the girls, they looked at me, and I was like, he's lovely, isn't he? So he comes over to the table and he says, would you like to dance? I looked at him, I looked at my pint of Guinness. I said, I just sat down to enjoy my Guinness. Heather kicked me under the table and she said, she'll dance with you on the next song. So we went and we danced. I wrote 3 songs from that meeting, right? 3 songs from it. I came home and I heard the guitar riff because, I don't necessarily play an instrument. I heard it and I said, I've been waiting for so long for Mr. Right to come along. I'm so very tired of being alone. I fear I've forgotten how to love. I fear I've forgotten how to be loved. That just because I was just playing it and I heard the words and the melody, and that's what I wrote. And that's how I wrote Mr. Right there. Any song that I've ever written has always come like that. I don't have to fight to make them happen. I just need to know I'm writing a song. That's all I need to know. And so I know myself. So because I've had that thought for a little bit, I got to write a song about the laws, something really catchy that you can sing all day. Just a hook. But that's it, Mozinga. We write about what we know. We live life based upon what we know, isn't it? So that's why. And the thing is with heartbreak, right? It's so raw and so visceral, you know? I know you guys are waiting for the bowl. I'm coming. I'm coming with the bowl. Hold on. But it's so visceral. That's why. The emotion in the body. But here's the thing. I'm going to teach about this in another class, but I'll mention it here. The way we know how we're living, if we're living now or if we're living from the past memory, is if you go through and you replay that heartbreak song to make your choice for the next relationship. You judge the new relationship based upon the past heartbreak, whereby you're not living right now. You're not giving this new relationship all of the potentiality it deserves because you're seeing it clouded by way of the old heartbreak. So we're living in the past. Yes. We walk and talk and eat and breathe the music, isn't it? Because think about the vibration. Who's rhyming? Like it's we walk and we talk and we move and we breathe it because that is the rhythm. Yes, we're moving from this place to somewhere else, and there's a rhythm to the way you move it. Queen Red Pill says, I wasn't waiting for the bowl at this moment. I'm waiting for you to commit. Now, what did you just learn about me? Why don't you ponder that? Why don't you ponder that? Why would you wait for me to commit? Now you understand lots about me, don't you? I keep telling you, you'll know a man by his habits. Right? Right? This is what it is. But yes, that is something that has been on my mind for a while. And I know me. I don't necessarily commit, I just do it. Honest. I just do it. Because that commitment part, that's okay. See? New behavior. Toilet bowl. Commitment. Water fountain. See? We're learning a lot, aren't we? But this is what is so beautiful about it, that you guys come in here and you're reading me. Yes. You can't show so much of yourself and not be understood or not be seen, because you'll know a man by their habits. Right? Think about that. It is a beautiful thing, and I'm definitely looking forward to this, and I will put myself to use today, and and see what I come up with. And we do have to come together and make it work, and yeah, like we do, don't we? Because there's so much out there, but we want to put something out that inspires and lifts everybody up. That's what we're doing, right? So I will commit to that. I have Lance. We didn't have Lance yesterday because Lance was not home. Because as you know, Lance has been very busy finalizing a lot of things, right? Finalizing his move. And so we're doing it today, this morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about current events and how to apply the law. Because you know, Lance and the audience, they will ask so many beautiful questions. And so that's what's happening this morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And in the meantime, I have decided, we got to do something with mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, gender. We have to do something with it. Indeed. All right, y'all. Let me get this bowl out. Okay. Let me get the bowl out. And I'm sure we will end up in the same place because we are of like mind. Where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. What's the name? The song. We're all gathered in agreement on that. And so the only outcome is to reap that harvest. Let's play the bowl, baby.